It's like I'm on an open mic speaking to a town for the first time. A hopeful taker's there to joke about his life to satisfy a crowd. Spending hours on my routine, making sure I put the perfect words on the pages of the notebook that I purchased. Even though I'm nervous, I get up on the stage, mouth agape and dry as I see him slowly draw the curtains. And as I speak from the heart, hoping only for a laugh, the room is so quiet I wish I could take it all back. But I'm clearly not a comic, I'm a musician, or at least a person who has made a couple albums. Cause I don't feel like rappers are as close to singers as we are to poets, or we were until we didn't show it anymore. Feel like I've blown it since I never truly write with anything other than the flow in mind. If I could find some insight, the best way to gauge what my music could have been if I stopped throwing every chance I get away. I think I found a reason, it's cause there's no incentive. I spent too long to write a song and everyone forgets it. I make these feeble plans, make sure that my words are all advanced, start to grasp cause I feel like embedding different themes. Dreams of doves that fly away from me to basic needs that I cannot fulfill unless I sacrifice my way of being. It pays to see if you can change your life and make a greater scene, topple your own great regime you find inside your brain and clean the innards and the outers till the coward doesn't strain to breathe. The one you've got inside you hide behind your striking face that's full of confidence, impoverished, astonished by your shameful schemes, amazed when friendships end in anger and you walk out gracefully, distastefully. We threw it out years ago, and with it went the memories. Back in the days where we were actually happy instead of pretending to be. It didn't matter to me at the time, I was a child, I didn't get it. And as I was getting older, I was getting closer to forgetting all about it. I really hope that I'm making this count, recounting the days when I laid on the grass for an hour and gazed at the clouds, not making a sound, seeing the shapes and conflating the curves and the ridges to faces I'd seen in my town. Think I'ma drown in all of the thoughts and the wishes that I've taught myself I should never be thinking about. I know I'll never be making you proud.
All those days I spent alone when I was younger were the last time I was happy by myself. Those days in the sandbox, all those days I spent at home when I was younger, when I wasn't hating everything I felt. Those days in the sandbox, all those days I spent alone when I was younger were the last time I was happy by myself. Those days in the sandbox, all those days I spent at home when I was younger, when I wasn't hating everything I felt.
Youth is fleeting, innocence is something that you stop needing after a while. And as you get older, the world gets colder, and along with that, believing gets so much harder to justify. So we all decide that we're just alive, and that living is the only thing that's worth our time. That our wants aren't worth it, entirely because we have needs that we need to tend to. But why can't we do both? We can't compromise our joy just because we become adults. One day we're gonna break and revolt cause we're drained of our souls from the hours that we put into working on something insignificant because we're too afraid to try and change. Stuck inside a cubicle listening to your orders till you're locked up in your quarters and you're blind with rage.
All those days I spent alone when I was younger were the last time I was happy by myself. Those days in the sandbox, all those days I spent at home when I was younger, when I wasn't hating everything I felt. Those days in the sandbox, all those days I spent alone when I was younger were the last time I was happy by myself. Those days in the sandbox, all those days I spent at home when I was younger, when I wasn't hating everything I felt. Those days in the sandbox.
If I could ever get around it, it. I lost my spark, but I never found it. I'm not sure if I could ever get around it. I lost my spark, but I never found it. I'm not sure if I could ever get around it. I lost my spark, but I never found it. I'm not sure if I could ever get around it. I lost my spark, but I never found it.
Moki beats.
Let me tell you about an odor that I've got in my brain. More pungent than an ogre and it's forming a haze. I'm going crazy though I'm always sober. I still wonder what it's like to not remember anything. I guess I'll find out when I get older, cause forgetting runs in the family. If that's how I wanna paint it, even though that's barely even scratching the ground near the surface around. To be a burden, so down to leave now if I'm loud and you'd prefer. I'm glowing after crying, call it bioluminescence. You could maybe call it lying, but I wouldn't draw the line there. I stare at my screen instead of doing anything. Maybe that's because I'm overthinking doing everything. Never been able to get around it, now I'm feeling surrounded. I wish that I could still doubt it about what's true and about what's false, but every other time I predicted my fall. A smile can fill up a room, radiating energy of happiness that's powerful enough to make you swoon. But the truth behind the grin is getting really hard to place. If the world was a mask, I'm being bare to see its face. Don't you dare misconstrue the point I'm trying to make. I know you love to see the obvious, but do your best to take a second at your data. Maybe analyze a couple statements, cause dissecting the hidden layers has been the only way I don't feel aimless. I keep trying to drown the truth, but it's a massive amount to move. It's weighing on my shoulders. Yeah, I switch between the grooves. Now I'm following a trail that I'm trying to cruise. Yeah, it's lovely really. The feeling that your feelings leave you real and then uncertain of reality. They ruin moments that you can't let be perfect. You subconsciously decided that there's always something that you do to make them all worthless.
Moki beats.
If I could ever get around it. I lost my spark, but I never found it. I'm not sure if I could ever get around it. I lost my spark, but I never found it. I'm not sure if I could ever get around it. I lost my spark, but I never found it. I'm not sure if I could ever get around it. I lost my spark, but I never found it.
Moki beats.
All my thoughts leaving my headspace, except for the dead weight, the words that I can't say. It's damn painful. I've lost any meaningful message, and now I just am pretentious. I'm never letting myself settle for less than a minute. The trains off the tracks, I forgot what it feels like to be laid back. If tomorrow is the day that my vision goes black, I'm just gonna wish that instead of cutting people out, I cut them some slack. My eyes are frosted shut, my brain is frozen over. I've been having Halloween evenings even long before October. Speaking used to be a piece until I did it over and over, and now I'm plucking leaves till the stem is all that's left of my clover. I feel like my momentum's coming to a halt. Whatever call I make, there's always gonna be a fault. Feeling lost, tossed into a proverbial mist. All rappers experience when they're wanting to quit. It's not the same, but it's similar. When my subject matter doesn't matter, it's a matter of time before I seriously think on whether I wanna keep going. Cause if I force myself to do this, it'll fester in deep loathing. I just wanna live a little bit more. If I'm lucky, maybe my situation getting better's what's in store. And if not, it's never gonna let up, and I know what I'm in for. I know what I'm in for, yeah. A life full of strife and scorn. I don't have many options, and yet I'm still torn, cause I keep on losing my motivation. Attempts to improve are just instigation, rearranging words in hopes they'll be more engaging. I feel deflated, degraded, and so afraid of creating, because the day I stop making music will mean I'm out of a way to express myself. I'm stressed and dwelling on the same things that are all but amazing. Then I arrive at the same conclusions, but never commit to my statements. I cover myself in contusions as I gawk at the bruises with eyes that are full of amazement. You'll see my mind go vacant.
Losing track of memories I once had, and I'm not satisfied by anything that's holding on.
really sad, but behind the glad face, I'm fully woebegone. Losing track of memories I once had, and I'm not satisfied by anything that's holding on. I always smile claiming that I'm never really sad, but behind the glad face, I'm fully woebegone.
What the dog doing?